The following program is rated BB-MA-LSA. It contains strong language, sexual situations, awesomeness, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener indiscretions are advised.
Welcome to our Bliss Bringers podcast. The materials we cover encourage adults of all ages, nationalities, and sexualities to open up and embrace their wildest desires and blissful pleasures. You won't find medical advice here, just our personal experiences following the journey of sexual evolution and education in sizzling fun topics that were definitely not taught to us in school, but have wickedly blossomed into reality. We discuss adventures in ethical non-monogamy, kinks and fetishes, exotic places to visit, sexy events, workshops, and tips. Allow us to seduce you into embarking on new adventures where each day you ask yourself, what's your pleasure? So what are we doing here?
We are catching up on what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. Before we forget, because we have so many adventures.
I've already forgotten. Where did we leave off?
We left off right when we were going to Burning Man.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
All right. So where are we going to start?
Well, I would start at BondCon. It is a brand new sort of mini conference at the Armory in San Francisco.
Friendly.
Yes, it is at kink.com.
And if y'all don't know what kink.com is, shame on
You
you.
lie. You do know what it is. Just go to your browser history, okay?
No, a lot of girls do not know what kink.com is.
Well, then type it in. But
Right.
not at work. Not at work.
Oh, don't. No.
Don't do it at work. Anywho, we went to a couple presentations. One was from Danorama.
And one was from Thraje. One was from Dominique, who's a transgender professional dominant.
And we went to a class on flogging.
That was the best. Now, we know
Mistress
flogging.
Dubois.
Yes, Cléo Dubois was the instructor. So back up a little bit. This is a kink-friendly educational series, a little bit different than what Dark Odyssey is. It's new, and kink.com is sponsoring it at the Armory, which is their world headquarters of where the delicious pornography is being filmed. But it has some history to the building. The building is an early 1900s building, and there's a lot of history in the basement, where some of these films are being filmed. It was an armory for the U.S. Army to protect the shores in the San Francisco area. There's a natural springs, a creek that runs through the bottom of that building. It's eerie because it's cold and damp down below, but they have everything on, 3-4 floors or where the shootings are taking place, the editing is taking place. They have a vendor's location. And
Well, it's basically an entire city block.
Yeah, it's huge.
So we did our trainings in there, and then we had a tour of the Armory. Remember that? With a bunch of our kinky friends.
Yeah, if you're ever visiting the San Francisco area, kink.com has daily tours, and they sell out very quickly. So make sure to get your reservations in. The tours are fascinating because they take you through the Armory. They show you where a lot of the porn films are being shot. You will see the live models, the artists themselves, the actors and the actresses that are there. They normally have bits and pieces that they are doing, practicing in dry runs for their kinky scenes. They're doing it right there for those of us that are on the tour. So it's
And
really
sometimes just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun. They were having fun, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, when I turned around after my first class before you arrived, because I was there early, I turned around and there's a scene going on where the vendors area is, and it's all these gorgeous hunky men, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm sorry. As a woman, I find it very, very sexy to see a group of men together. I am definitely a fan for bisexual and watching gay porn. I think that's hot. I think it's fucking hot to see gorgeous men in their cocks and no women except me.
No.
So anyhow, sorry, I digress.
She was distracted by cocks.
Oh my God, the image in my head is of these gorgeous men and cocks and chests and arms and the whippings and the punishments. Oh, sorry. That's my heaven.
All right. So what else did we see during the tour?
Do you want to talk a little bit about the session with Thraje?
Sure, we can talk about that.
What did you think of it?
So Thraje, if that's the right way to pronounce that.
It's spelled Thraje. Thraje is how I'm going to pronounce it. But
Yeah.
he goes by Jon.
Interestingly enough.
Very
And he
smart
made that
man.
name up just to fuck with his submissives.
I was really fascinated by his submissives.
Yes.
When we walked into the room, this gorgeous blonde was on her knees.
She was a full-time submissive,
She had her hands in palms facing up.
and she did a greeting.
She waited for his orders.
Mhm.
She kissed his shoes. I love that.
Yep. He explained that's the ritual they do every morning.
Yes. So he lives this at home and then in their non-vanilla world, but he also works in corporate America. So their protocols are outlined very strictly. And that was one of the things that he did a great job with presenting. He
Yeah.
obviously, whatever role he plays in his 8 to 5 job, he is a professional speaker. Very well organized. I would highly recommend anyone that wants to look him up for maybe some private practice. But what he brought to light was being able to take the dominant role into the corporate America, and becoming a better leader, be a better manager or whatever in that position versus a submissive role. So I'm really interested in following up with him.
He gave a talk on designing protocols for your submissives, working together on finding your values of your relationship. And that was pretty interesting.
It was a different level of an educational topic. He came at it at a different angle, which I grabbed onto from understanding enough about the BDSM kink world in the DS relationships, as well as being in a marriage, as well as working in corporate America. And so the way that he addressed the dominant and submissive roles, I really appreciated because it was actually very elegant.
We'll definitely touch base with him.
Yes. Yeah. I'm hoping to get him on to an interview. I'd like to learn more. Personally speaking, I would like to learn more from him. He has some unique techniques. And that's the one thing about going to these sessions. One would think, oh, God, how many of these sessions can Blissbringers go? They got to be like getting all the same shit out of every class. And no, not at all. Each instructor has their own technique and their own perception of how the BDSM world works for them and the people, their partners. I've taken new techniques away from every one of our classes, from every one of those instructors, and incorporated it into our life. What about you?
Yeah, it's amazing seeing not just physical techniques, but also getting techniques on building your headspace.
That's the one thing about Cléo Dubois that I noticed with her being in the scene for over 30 years. Folks, if you haven't heard of Cléo Dubois, check out her website. We'll have it in our show notes. But for those swingers that are listening to us that have a little bit of a kinky side, or they're not sure if they can introduce it to their partner, Cléo Dubois actually specializes in training for couples in a sensual scene, in an erotic way, how to help partners negotiate and discuss the kinky BDSM side without scaring their partner away. So we'll have her website, but I did check it out and was really impressed with her agendas. And I was impressed with her instruction too on teaching flogging. I thought it was very sensual.
And we'll try to get her on for an interview as well.
Yeah, she says she's going to.
So we talked about the tour. They showed all the different locations where they did their shoots. A lot of it is original, and some of them are props.
What do you mean props?
Like completely built up from scratch.
Oh, yeah, the rooms are...
Like they have a wrestling ring. They have a rubber room for the crazy people.
Yeah.
They have an interrogation room.
Interrogating is good. Mine fucks everybody.
Yes.
Ooh, I love
They have a little speakeasy where they film the public humiliation thing.
Yeah, that wrestling room was rather interesting.
That's a separate subsection of kink.com. I think it's called Total Surrender or something like that.
Rough play.
Yeah, where they have women wrestling and then the loser gets fucked by the winner.
Okay, that's rather interesting. I think I'm more interested in the woman-man wrestling than seeing two girls wrestle.
Yeah.
I want to see a girl kick a guy's ass, because they will.
They probably have some. I just haven't seen those yet. So we saw all those. They didn't take us to the upper floor.
That was a private area. They had a private party going on. And we've been to kink.com's parties.
Yes, to the upper floor.
Right. It feels like you're walking into a book.
Yes, it literally feels like you're walking onto a porn set, because it is a porn set. But that was not part of the tour that day.
No. What era would you describe?
Victorian.
It is Victorian. Reddish, dark colors with big, heavy-duty wooden tables that have D-rings to tie down your submissive on the dinner table and possibly eat sushi off their belly.
Mm-hmm. So we did the tour.
With
our gang of misfits.
And then that night, we went to a party.
Yes.
We went to 2 parties. So after we left kink.com, we went across the street. We discovered.
Yes, there was a meet and greet.
Kink.com owns a bar across the street. That's a pretty cool bar.
Mm-hmm.
We want to do a party next year.
Yeah, that was a very swingalicious location.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great meetup place for swingers.
Yes, if we can get the downstairs rented out.
Oh, easy peasy.
Yep, let's do that next time.
Let's get a swinger kink-friendly group going for that tour, and then we'll go across the street and party.
Mm-hmm. That could work.
All right.
And then what did we do? We went to the kink.com party.
Yeah, we didn't go back to the hotel, though. We changed in the streets of San Francisco.
Too much going on. We didn't see our hotel.
We didn't go back to the hotel to change into our outfits. There was a really nice upscale party being thrown at kink.com. And Midori was part of the entertainment. She was showing off her artistry, rope and exotic artwork with a live
flower
model.
arrangement.
Yeah, with a live model. Sexy live model.
I was walking the various rooms because all those rooms at the bottom level where they shoot their films were open to the public. So you could hang out in there and do whatever. They just did not allow any nudity. It was sort of weird because they were serving alcohol.
Right. Yeah, San Francisco, California laws, you can't be fully nude if there's alcohol being served, which is kind of silly.
The interesting thing there is I met this girl in one of the rooms who was trying out her flogging. She was at the flogging class of Mrs. Dubois.
Oh.
And she bought a flogger that looked fancy, but that was totally the wrong size for her.
Why?
She was tiny, and it had a handle that didn't turn. So it
Are
didn't.
you saying size matters?
Size always matters. So we had a flogging emergency, so I had to teach her how to flog. A boyfriend and a friend that needed flogging there.
2 boys?
Yep.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. So she was learning how to flog so she could flog the boys.
It was practical because I had one example and then she could repeat what I was doing. First, I had them on the bed, bending over the bed and up.
John, did you just say you bent a boy over the bed?
Yes, 2 boys. And then we made them lay on the floor.
Do we need to discuss something?
It was pretty funny. And then I showed 2-handed flogging, how you can flog 2 people at once. That was pretty funny.
You're a show-off.
Yes. It was a flogging emergency.
Exhibitionist. I took one of Anastasia's boy toys and tied him up. Tied him up, and the 2 of us, Anastasia and I, we had a awesome time. I was flogging him. I was teasing him. I was giving him orders. But she's played with him quite a bit, and he has a high pain threshold. In fact, he has a unique kink. He loves it when people punch his balls and pull his balls. And God, even my legs are starting to tighten up because, he's howling and screaming. And I'm like, oh, Anastasia, don't hurt him. She goes, oh, he loves it. And he leans over. He goes, oh, I love it. And I'm like, are you guys crazy? Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Oh, it was great. It was a learning session. It was also a very kinky session.
Mm-hmm.
We have some good pictures, good, delicious, yummy pictures.
For me, the most interesting part was walking around at the party and looking at people. And many of them had like a flogger or a stick or something like that with them and were trying it out. But you could so see the difference between who knew what they were doing and who had absolutely no clue and were faking it.
Quite a few newbies.
Yes.
I'm so proud to see all these vanilla people enter the dark side. I'm proud of the swingers for coming out of the closet and embracing the kinky side. I'm happy to see people finally enjoying a little bit of that kink.
Mm-hmm.
Spicy. You actually had a conversation with a very young guy at the very end.
Oh, yeah. He came up to me
around.
and he was like, oh, So tell me your secrets. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, you were walking around like you know what you're doing. Like, explain it to me, everything. I'm like, okay, that's gonna be a long one. I gave him some pointers on what books he should read.
How did he even find his way at this party? He was a very clean-cut young guy.
Yes, he just got an invite for, this wild and kinky party, and he's like, oh, I'll go to it.
And he went by himself. He didn't go with any friends?
Nope.
Oh, I'm so proud of him.
It was good for him, but he has a lot to learn, but he's young, so he has an advantage on that. So good for him.
Yeah, actually, he does have an advantage. Can you imagine if we started when we were 23, where we would be today? We would be like Miss Dubois and Midori. We'd have years under our belt. I don't know if we would have the same expertise as some of the rope masters out there like Miss Genevieve and Midori and Lokai, but you never know. If we had started when we were young, just think where we'd be today.
Who knows? Anyway, so after that, we went to our overpriced hotel room.
Yeah, so that weekend, what is going on with the hotel prices? It just recently, they have just like jumped up like twice. It's crazy. So anyhow, it's Folsom Street Faire weekend and the prices of the
everything
hotel.
was booked.
It's like $300 a night was the cheapest one.
So yeah, we split that.
Normally we like our privacy, but for one night of partying and just having a bed to sleep, I can't just.
It was sort of fun coming down the elevator and looking at the Starbucks there, and you see these people in leather, in latex, or with the Sex Geek t-shirt on. I'm like, oh, I know that.
Yeah, so we're talking about Sunday. After the party at kink.com, Sunday morning was the opening of Folsom Street Faire. Yay! One of my favorite annual events here in San Francisco.
Hi, this is Emily from Cassidy, and you can find me and hundreds of other sexually social swingers at cassidy.blissbringers.com, and that's spelled KASIDIE.
How would you describe Folsom?
Well, it started off for the leather community, the gay men in leather, and it runs up and down Folsom Street. It has vendors, but it's broadened itself. It has circles of the community from the Burning Man scene. It has swingers. It has the vanillas. Holy cow,
It has tourists.
There are so many freaking vanilla tourists that are walking around. There's no room to walk. This year was more crowded than the year before, and the year before it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Kink.com is a major sponsor there. They always have demonstrations, kinky demonstrations. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
what city can you go to and you see a mistress pissing on a male submissive? And the crowd is chanting.
Who just happened to be Marcelo?
Marcelo, you are so cute up there at stage. Good for you. We were rooting in the backgrounds because there was such a huge crowd that was sitting around and watching the mistress tormenting him. Do you remember?
Cattle prodding him?
Cattle prodding. Remember when we were walking through the crowd and I heard the screams? I'm like, oh, stop. That sounds familiar. That sounds like Marcelo.
Yeah, that tells you something. When you recognize the screams coming from the kink.com.
Yeah, this year that was a little bit too crowded for me.
I don't like the new location. They moved it up like a block or so.
Yeah, so on Folsom Street, it begins at 8th Street, and it's blocked off all the way down to the highway interchange, the 101 interchange. And the reason that they've moved it further is because all the Googleites, the young, up-and-coming, well-paid to do 30-something-year-olds that are buying up all the homes in San Francisco and the condos, they don't want these types of events in front of their condos. And this Folsom Street Faire has been going on for years. And so basically it's just not the Google employees. It's also the Facebook employees. It's also the Salesforce.com employees. And yes, I'm calling you all out because you all know what I'm talking about. And they've got these young little attitudes of, oh, we don't want that in our backyard, which just makes me want to barf.
Mm-hmm.
Get over yourself.
How do you really feel about it?
This is San Francisco. You don't like it? Move the fuck out.
Yep. So we ran around a lot there, visited all the vendors.
You know, that's the one thing I love about Folsom Street Faire. All the best at-home businesses that are making the best floggers and the best paddles, and they're hardworking. They do this as either their full-time living or their side business, but the vendors that come out are the best. And they're from all over the country.
Boris and Doris, where the fuck were you guys?
I know. You bad kids, get your butt over here. But, you know, every time we go to Folsom Street Faire, we always pick up a new toy. This is the first year we did not buy a toy.
I bought a new toy, but that was at kink.com.
Yeah.
Does that count?
No, it's not on the street. It's not the Folsom Street Faire. What did you buy?
I bought a suspension ring.
And what are you planning on doing with that?
Suspending things and people.
Oh, people. I was going to say, my plants keep dying, so you're not going to be hanging.
Well, I was practicing the suspension ties on the big teddy bear.
My teddy bear's name is Christopher, by the way. It does have a name.
Okay. Sorry, Christopher.
And it's approximately 35 years old, so be nice to him.
Okay.
John does have a picture of Christopher hanging in a harness suspended from his new rigging ring.
By the way, you can find the pictures of Folsom and of Christopher being suspended in our Quesady group, which you can get to by going to quesady.blissbringers.com. After we were done running around at Folsom, we went for drinks at Wicked Grounds. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I needed it. When there's so many people and so many things going on that I get quickly tired, and I needed to just check out. So Wicked Grounds is a kink-friendly cafe, and it's also right off of Folsom Street over by Mr. S. We stopped in and got a delicious cappuccino, got some caffeine in the veins.
And remember next to who you sat down?
Yeah, there was only one table that was available because it was pretty crowded in there too. And I asked to share the table with this gorgeous hunk of a man that I watched the night before doing some whips. He's fascinating with his whips. Come to find out, his name is Disciple.
Yes.
Very well-mannered gentleman. And sharp dresser. Man, that man knows how to dress.
I've been to one of his trainings before. That was in the Citadel on spanking.
Oh, really?
That wasn't with you, though.
Oh, should I get jealous?
You can get jealous all you want.
We'll save that one for another show. Yeah, he does do some classes at Citadel, and he was doing that. He seems to be more and more in the scene, or at least maybe we're coming more and more in the scene, because I think he's been in the scene quite a long time.
Yeah, he's an old hand.
Yeah, well, he's got smooth hands. So I just sent him an email last night.
We'll see if it works.
I want some training. Yeah, I think I'm ready to take that next step in learning how to do the whips.
Watch out, everybody.
Single tail. I'm just fascinated, and there aren't too many masters of that craft that mesmerize me, and he is very good. It's all in the wrist. I watch him with his wrist, and he's very gentle, and he's great with the people that he's whipping the shit out of. He's gentle to introducing the single tail. He doesn't get crazy with the cracking sounds. And then I noticed, when he does tag somebody and it looks like it may be a little too painful, I like the aftercare that he gives.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good. So, Disciple, if you're out there,
call us.
Or email us back. Call me.
At mistress@blissbringers.com.
Right. So, what else?
What else did we do?
I think that was it. We called it for that weekend. After the cappuccino.
Yep.
We didn't party like we normally do. We said goodbye to our friends. They drove back up to Sacramento. That gorgeous fireman and his wife, lovely couple. Mm-hmm. And the naughty nurse in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
We will see them again soon.
Yep, that was Folsom.
Mm-hmm. We've done a couple of parties since then.
Yes.
We did the art gallery last night.
Yep, that was interesting. And we also went to the Citadel in the meantime.
Last week.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Daniel Stern. I'm the author of Swingland, Between the Sheets of the Secretive, Sometimes Messy, but Always Adventurous Swinging Lifestyle. Out right now in hardback and ebook, available at all bookstores and at blissbringers.com/swingland.
do you want to talk about your newest household member?
She is a household member. So we have accepted the request to take a submissive under my wing. And so I own my first sparrow.
Yay!
That's her nickname. That's her name. She is my little pet. And she is so fragile. The name fits perfectly. She is a sparrow. And so I think we're going to learn quite a bit from one another. And so we'll see where this journey goes. And you, Jon, have been a great help because you have an evil hand, a wicked hand, and she has a very high pain threshold. So having you be my servicing top,
yeah,
I'm enjoying
So
this.
instead of good cop, bad cop, we do nice dom, mean dom.
Yeah, you are the mean dom. I like orchestrating scenes. I like giving you the orders of what to do to her. And she has given us the consent to include you as long as I watch over her. She is not your chew toy.
And we did take her to the party.
It was the first swinger party that she'd been to. She's really new to the scene. She met us at Burning Man. You'll hear her sexy little voice on the Burning Man episode where I introduced spanking to her. She wasn't really comfortable with the swinger party, and I understand her anxieties.
Yes, it's a different world than the kink scene.
Well, so for the folks that are listening that are swingers, this is something to just keep in mind. In the BDSM kink world, we have high protocols, rules that are a lot stricter than in the swinger community. Although, we have rules that says do not touch without consent. Those rules inevitably are broken.
Sometimes get forgotten by some people.
Mostly women. They touch, when they see somebody like, oh, I like your hair, and they reach over and they touch the hair. They don't mean anything about it. But for someone that is strictly from the BDSM kink world, they are not used to having strangers touch them. Or in this case, people wanted to touch Sparrow's tattoo on her thigh, and without asking, they just immediately decided to touch it. Swinger people, including you ladies, you lovely ladies, please remember to ask for consent because not every one of the women or men want to be touched by a stranger. Get to know them first. Ask for permission before touching because those newbies that we're trying to bring into the swinger community.
Well, even bringing a new swinger in a swinger community requires appropriate amount of consent.
And it scares them when they start to have people touch them. They just immediately think that people want to have sex, which they probably do. But just remember when you're at a party and you're meeting people.
Especially if it's people you don't know.
Yep. They may have their boundaries very high. So think of them first, guys. Ask for their consent before you touch them. Yeah, that's it.
And then if you get their consent, you can spank their ass or whatever.
Or touch their hair.
No, fuck them.
Well, do you remember at your birthday party a few years ago? I'm sure I've said this before, but that one birthday party where the woman grabbed my hair because I have long, thick hair, and she tried to convince me that I should be with girls and I probably should have my hair pulled. And I thought I was going to kill the bitch. And I was being polite, saying, oh, no, I'm a dom. I don't like my hair pulled. And she tried to convince me. Do you remember that scene?
Yes.
Guess who was at the party? At the art gallery. It's that same woman. And I at first started going, oh, you're so beautiful. And then all of a sudden, the little red flag in my head went off. She did have better manners this time. She did not pull my hair. But I thought I was going to kill that woman because she wanted to pull my hair.
Oh. So, yeah, that was fun at the party.
It was fun.
I think we turned some heads when we were doing our spanking sessions there.
Honey, we were exhibitionists. We were doing the spanking scene with Sparrow and blindfolded her, mind fucked with her when I walked away. I really am getting into this mind fucking stuff. I don't know what the hell's up with me. The evil side of me's coming out.
That took a long time. That was a long scene.
I didn't feel like it was long.
No, it was.
Tangerine mentioned it was a long time.
Yeah, it was over 2 hours.
Was it really? Wow, time
I
flies.
almost didn't get laid.
Oh, please. Oh, gosh. Jon, you have girls always lined up on the wall waiting for their turn. It's almost like we need to be at a meat market when somebody takes a ticket and says, serving now, number 81. 81, please. You would have gotten laid. The girls were waiting.
Yeah.
You got laid. You got the girl in trouble that you got laid by, though.
Yes,
He cock blocked.
Yes.
You pulled a cock block.
Yep, normally it gets pulled on me, so this is revenge for the universe.
I was going to call some names out, but I didn't want any phone calls.
He knows who he is.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and explain that one because the swingers would like to hear this one. Go ahead. Explain, how did you get the girl in trouble?
Oh, so there was a couple which the last time I saw them was on my big birthday party.
Mr. and Mrs. Pilates is their nickname.
Yes. She has the world's most famous ass.
Oh my God, it is so tight that not only can you bounce a quarter off of it, she can literally jack off a man with her ass cheeks. And that is no joke.
And that is not a matter of speech.
No.
She did it the first time I met her,
Yes.
which was very impressive. I didn't even know that was going on. So,
It was awesome.
yes.
She giggled when we mentioned it. And then she was very happy to explain, yes, she can still do that.
Well, we didn't try that. Anyhow, so while we were there with Sparrow, she and her husband and another couple decided to play on the bed next to us, and they were going to do basically a foursome or a full swap. So Mr. Pilates was going at it with the other woman, and then the other guy was going down on Mrs. Pilates. And while she was laying there, she was beckoning me to come over.
I saw her hand reach over and wrap around your waist. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's cool.
But before that, she was giving me the eye.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I happened to walk past her while I was cleaning up the ropes. And yeah, then she groped me. And then that turned into a blowjob while the other guy was going down on her.
That's right. I saw you put your cock in her mouth.
And then she said, oh, yeah, let's swap. I'm like, okay. I was thinking like, oh, I'll go down on her. No problem. And then she says, yeah, put on a condom and fuck me. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you're not going to have to say that twice. So I was fucking her from behind and she was going down on the other guy.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
Yes.
I was doing that for a bit and then she was changing it up. And then so far as that,
I saw you on your back at one point.
yes, she wanted me on my back, and then she got on top of me, and then
Did she squirt this time?
no.
Oh, I told the story.
And
I was
then
telling people the story.
after a while, she sort of forgot about the blowjob for the other guy. She got too distracted. And then the other guy got bored and was putting his clothes on, so his wife got annoyed. So she wanted to leave.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, and so the wife got annoyed and stopped playing with Mr. Pilates? Oh, God. That is really a bad cock block. I'm going to high five you. Good job. Good job. Oh, oops. So.
Sorry about that.
Not really.
A little bit.
It was all about the other guy. His feelings were hurt.
Yes.
So it was one of those married couples that must not play
Separately. I don't know. I might have caused some drama.
Shame on you.
Oh.
Mr. Pilates was upset.
Yeah.
Because his fun ended.
Sorry about that. I'm sorry, but your wife has such a cute ass. You got to understand.
Smile.
And she's so bubbly.
She is so bubbly. She's always happy.
And hot.
Very hot.
So I have mitigating circumstances.
Yeah. Oh, well. That's all right. So we walked Sparrow to her car.
Yep. And that was
it.
That was the end of that. And
We're going to see her again.
pretty soon.
We have a training session scheduled.
Yep.
It's in the calendar. Yeah, we're at the point of schedules that we are now sharing our calendars.
We're doing the poly thing. Like, oh, we'll put it in the Google Calendar.
You know, that's funny because I think we are considered poly because we do have really good friends that we love and adore and would drop everything for. But we're picking up some techniques of poly, but I will never title us poly.
Yes.
It's
because
too
we don't
complicated.
do potlucks.
We don't do potlucks. And I don't want anyone to check in with me. You know, like dating stuff. I want people to go out and fuck whoever they want, whenever they want. And I don't want any drama. Poly people, I don't know how you do it. God bless you guys for multitaskers because I don't know how you guys do it. But anyhow, we are taking your idea for Google Calendar and we're opening it up and we're scheduling it with some of our playmates. It makes life easier.
Maybe that'll count.
Can we be a hybrid? Let's be hybrids.
We'll just be special.
Dear, you are very special.
And what else? I think that's about it.
We celebrated our anniversary.
Yes,
We were in Santa Cruz.
that was fun.
That was a sexy, hot weekend, just you and I. We had a fuck fest on our own. It was like a first time ever.
Gotta do that again.
Wait till the next anniversary. That's it. I mean, there's other little parties and stuff like that, but we don't have to tell them everything.
No,
Then
no,
we
that's-
start to sound like sluts.
Yes, and we wouldn't have that now, would we?
No. All right. So what's our upcoming calendar like? We have Dark Odyssey that's coming up. I'm going to that.
And
Halloween's coming up. We got Las
Halloween
Vegas.
is coming up. Yay!
Yay. We're going to do a live broadcast.
Yes, we did it last year, but we're doing it this year again, and it's going to be bigger and better.
I think we
And
should.
if you don't believe me, check out last year's episode.
Yeah, but this year we're going to do a bedcast. I think we should have a bedcast.
Ooh, I like the idea.
Let's do Slutville jumping from bedcast to bedcast. So we'll have like the hosts of the party for Thursday night. We'll have to jump into bed with them and do a bedcast. We'll have to jump into Master Bill's bed and do a bedcast because his British yummy delicious girl is coming back. So we'll have to meet up with Mr. Bill and his Brit. And then we'll have to jump over to, I don't know, we got a whole bunch of beds we can jump into. We are going to.
We got a lot of recording space, so
yeah.
we'll figure it out.
Reverend John doing his bedcast. All right.
Awesome sauce. Alrighty, so I am going to leave everybody with our interviews from Folsom Street, because I made some interviews there. Which I think
they
will
are
be fun.
naughty confessions. Good
Yes.
grief. They were shocking.
Yes, some of them were pretty interesting.
Shocked us. Even.
Hello, so who are you and what are your confessions?
Marcelo.
And your confessions?
Wednesday I'm going to have an orgy with transsexuals.
Wow. And where do you get those?
Craigslist.
Oh. That's interesting. And what are you going to do there?
Well, what I'm not going to do. I don't know. I'll be blindfolded with earplugs. I will be feeling a lot of stuff, but probably not going to be seeing much. So
That's awesome. What are you looking forward to at Folsom?
being at the kink.com stage.
Hi, who are you and what is your confession?
My name is James, and I'm going to confess about this girl that I dominated last night. She'd never been tied up or flogged before. We were at a gangbang, so I tied her up and then forced her to give oral sex to 5 men while she was bound, and I flogged her the entire time and made her swallow every drop of their jizz.
And is this the girl here?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, unfortunately, she's recovering. She's like, I wish it was me. She wishes it was her.
And what are your plans for Folsom?
Oh, just to walk around and have a good time.
What about you? What's your confession?
Well, I met this guy, and I'd never been tied up before. And he tied me up and spanked me, and I really, really enjoyed
And
it.
did he make you blow 5 guys?
No, unfortunately.
Why not?
Because I wasn't there.
Oh, okay. So that's for next time then.
Next time.
Okay. Any plans for Folsom?
To get spanked a lot.
Okay, I think there's some volunteers here that can help you with
Hey, volunteers.
Who are you and what's your confession?
Well, I'm Dan. My confession is last night I had probably 4 different penises in my mouth. Yeah, that's the first time for me, so.
Oh, wow. That's a naughty one.
Yes, it is.
Were you tied up and spanked?
I was not tied up. I was not spanked. But I was definitely being played with at the same time. Not exactly sure who all was on the other end all the time because I couldn't always see. Bodies are in the way, that kind of a thing. But it's a good time. Good time was had by all.
Awesome. And are you going to repeat on that?
I'm probably not going to go any farther than that. I have a newfound respect for women and how their jaw does not get sore during, because I got to tell you, especially with one of the guys, he was huge, and that was a challenge. So,
Well, good job. Congratulations, man.
thank you.
What's your name and what are you doing here at Folsom?
I'm looking for Sister Roma because she apparently is where the circle jerk is.
Okay. And what is that exactly?
It's where they jerk around in a circle.
Okay. Is that your plan for Folsom?
Yes.
Any other plans?
No.
Well, I'll check in with you later, okay?
No.
Yeah, so who are you and what are your confessions?
I'm not confessing. I've been far too well behaved. I'm not confessing.
I find that hard to believe. Okay. What are you planning on doing at Folsom?
Just checking out the scene. Just looking at everybody.
What about you? What are you doing here?
I'm here to see some fisting.
That's a girl who knows what she wants. And how's that working out for you?
Well, I haven't seen anything yet, but we're kind of towards the front, aren't we?
Yeah. Just fisting, nothing else? Male, female?
Either.
She's an equal opportunity fister, so yeah, either.
And do you like doing that yourself, or do you like it getting done?
No, I just want to watch.
What about you, sir? What are you doing here?
I'm here with my wife. We're here to see every single thing that we can see. And especially, we love the rope play. We love the floggers. I mean, yeah, it's all good.
What does Folsom mean to you?
100% be yourself and be what you want to be, and do not have to worry about what anybody else thinks about you. And whatever kink you got, just let it fly, and everybody digs it.
What are your confessions? We had lots of tape.
Awesome. Confessions, maybe like what I like?
Sure. Leave out no dirty detail.
That is a tough one, yeah. So, well, other than sharing as many men with my wife as possible, since I'm bisexual, we do occasionally get into some pretty good bondage, some pretty rough sessions. My wife and I'm mostly dom. She's probably a switch, and sometimes we get in some really nice power struggles that usually start out with her slapping me.
I can see that happening.
Yeah. And then
it's a light tap.
Yeah, a light tap.
With a big flogger.
Yeah, and then she wants to see the look on my face. And if the look on my face is, if I give her that, what the fuck are you doing look, then she knows it's time to maybe goad me into beating her.
That sounds awesomely bratty. Oh, you should see the smile on. All right, have a good Folsom.
All right, thank you.
Shoutouts.
Today's recommended podcast is The Swing Wife. It details the adventures of Steph, her husband, and their friends through the swinging lifestyle.
Hi, and welcome to The Swing Wife podcast. We thank you for listening. We hope you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Check them out at theswingwife.com.
And I think that's it.
That's it?
For the rest, I would invite everybody to go to the website blissbringers.com. There you just basically click on everything that's on there. You can subscribe in iTunes, you can review us, you can donate.
Please review us. It helps move our ranks up.
And tell a friend about us.
Yes. Refer a friend that needs some audio porn. Plug us into your ears and listen to us at the office, you naughty little workers.
And for the rest, until next time, what's your pleasure?
All names mentioned in this show are either fictional, taken from public record, or held by people who have given their explicit consent to be mentioned.